Welcome to Advocacy Talks, a podcast from the Advocacy team at Vision Ireland. Here's what's coming up on this episode.
I have a eye condition called aniridia, and it essentially makes me have lower vision and be more sensitive to light. I have a great passion for youth advocacy. I'm involved in many different organisations such as Gaisce, the Irish Second Level Students' Union, but I will be mainly talking about Gaisce.
And now, here's Madeleine McNamara.
Hello everybody, and thank you so much for listening to Advocacy Talks today. I really appreciate it. Well, as always, before I introduce today's guest, I just want to remind you about our previous episode. So in the last episode, I spoke to Fiona Kelty, who is an independent travel support assistant with Dublin Bus, and she told us all about that service that runs in the Greater Dublin area, and she gave some really useful information about travelling independently. So if you did miss that, please do listen back. And just to let you know that that service is also available outside of the Greater Dublin area in Cork, Limerick, Galway, Waterford and Louth. So there's no need to miss out on those services that can be provided to you to help you travel independently. Well, today I'm really delighted to be joined by Conor Clifford, who is a Gaisce Youth Ambassador. So Conor, welcome to Advocacy Talks.
Thank you very much, Madeleine, for inviting me, and I hope that I can be of some great insight, and I hope that this could be a very fruitful interview.
Oh, I'm sure it will, because I think you're a very interesting young man and you're going to have loads of interesting things to tell people here. So we're really, really delighted to have you on Advocacy Talks. So before we get going and before we sort of jump into Gaisce, maybe you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi, I'm Conor Clifford. I am an 18-year-old young person living in Dublin. I have a eye condition called aniridia, and it essentially makes me have lower vision and be more sensitive to light. I have a great passion for youth advocacy. I'm involved in many different organisations such as Gaisce, and the Irish Second Level Students' Union, but I will be mainly talking about Gaisce throughout this interview.
Fantastic. I mean, for someone so young, you certainly have done an awful lot. So we're very impressed even before we start here, but I'm sure we're going to even get more impressed as we go along. But as you say, we're going to mainly talk about Gaisce today. So maybe, for a lot of people might not know what Gaisce is. So maybe you could kind of give us a bit of a background on Gaisce and what is that all about?
So Gaisce, it means great achievement. It is a award that is a personal challenge set by the president, who is Catherine Connolly at the moment, to young people to try and empower them and upskill maybe their current skills or maybe learn something new. There is three different pillars to Gaisce, which are the three different medals: your bronze medal, your silver medal, and your gold medal, with each medal having different goals and tasks that you have to undertake. The three main challenges that you have to undertake is your personal skill, your physical skill, and your community service skill. These are skills that are essentially aimed to help you as a young person to get involved in your community, learn something new, and get out and do something productive.
That's fantastic. And I think what's so good about it is that it's all set by the individual, isn't it? There's no competition or anything involved. You decide what things you want to do as part of the award. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Gaishka's main mission is to make a young person, get more empowered and upskill the different skills that they already have. It's not a competition at all, and we do strive for inclusion and to make sure that all young people across the Republic of Ireland can get involved.
So you mentioned then there's the three levels, that the bronze, silver and gold. And what level are you at or have you achieved at the moment with that?
So I have achieved my bronze and silver award. I have got two certificates as well with those medals. My bronze one has been signed by Michael D. Higgins, who was the previous president before Catherine Connolly, and my silver medal certificate is signed by Catherine Connolly, the current president, and I recently received my silver award back in May. I am currently working towards my gold medal, but that will take some time and determination to get, as it is a way longer program than the bronze and the silver.
Yeah, so as you go on, it gets a bit harder and harder, and that's really cool to have certificates signed by two different presidents. I think that's a real thing to keep and treasure, isn't it? I think it's amazing.
Oh, absolutely. And it's very good for a CV, as it shows an employer that you have great determination, resilience, and you can take up a task or a challenge. And it shows that you, as a young person, are able to get out there and be more involved in different initiatives and within your community.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And anything people can have, do to kind of improve that sort of CV and to show people what you're capable and able to do is fantastic. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about, you mentioned the three different areas there, the challenges that you do as part of the Gaisce. So maybe you could kind of tell us, so for the bronze, what did that involve for you? What challenges and things did you take on?
So with the bronze award, you have to do the three different challenge areas, your personal, physical, and community service. You have to do that over a 13-week period. And within every week, you have to do that for an hour. I done for my personal learning a musical instrument. For my community, I volunteered in the local charity shop. And for my physical skill, I played in my local visually impaired football team. I done this over a period of 13 weeks, and then I undertook an adventure journey, which was a 1 night, 2 day stay in Carlingford, and I had to do 25K hike up Carlingford Mountain, and when I essentially done all that, that is when I got my bronze award. You would essentially begin with the bronze award back in TY, as you are not able to start the Gaisce Award until you are 14, and most students don't hear about Gaisce until TY.
And I suppose that's generally where people would hear about it, would be in school, and that was the case for you, was it?
Yes, that is correct. I heard about it through my TY coordinator. My TY coordinator was also my pal as well, who is a Presence Award leader. They are the person who essentially is your guidance counselor for Gaisce. They ensure that you're signed up, you have all the stuff you need, and you can participate in any way possible.
Fantastic. So just to go a bit more in detail there, you mentioned that you did a musical instrument as part of your sort of skill element. Tell us what musical instrument, what was that? Did you learn to play something new, or did you just increase your ability on an instrument? Tell us a bit more about that.
So I currently play the tin whistle, but I also picked up the piano for the Gaisce Award. It's
Wow.
yeah, so you can pick up basically anything for your personal skill. Your personal skill is to make you figure out something new, learn something new. You can learn a new language. You could learn absolutely anything. And that's the whole fun of the personal skill, is to learn something new, and maybe it'll be something that could be a passion later on in life.
Yeah, actually, my daughter did. One of my daughters did Goshka. She just did the bronze, and I think she learned how to crochet. And it's something that she absolutely loves now, and it's a skill that's really benefited her for relaxation and enjoyment going forward. So I think that is something about it. It can really give you something lifelong sort of passion in something that you've picked up as part of Goshka.
Yes, like I think Gaishka is very good for that, as a lot of young people, they can be nervous about picking up something new, doing something that is outside their comfort zone, and I think Gaishka can really give you that push to go out there and do something new.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. And then you mentioned then that you did the community part, which you worked in a charity shop. So how did you find that?
So I worked in a Vision Ireland charity shop for my
Oh,
bronze.
well done. Well done.
Yeah. I found a very good environment. The manager at the time, he was amazing. He was also visually impaired, so he was very understanding. Um, and throughout the 13 weeks I worked there, it was a great experience to learn how retail works and how the public sector is very different in various different ways.
Yeah, no, I mean, fantastic. So, really showed you that you can achieve and do all these things and to have that sort of, again, that experience of being in that work environment is so valuable, I think, for young people.
Yes, it's definitely you don't even have to be in a charity shop. You could get involved in your local tidy towns. You could get involved in um your local county council. It doesn't have to be something
Mm.
like a charity shop. Most people move towards a charity shop because as they hear community, they think charity shop, volunteering. But it doesn't have to be that essentially. It can just be anything but voluntary within your community.
Yeah, and again, not to, I'm using my own personal experience here, but my daughter did it through, I know you did it through your school, but she actually did it through the Girl Guides, because that's another organization that you can, do Goshka. And so her community was actually being a leader as part of that, so you can do different things, if you're in the Scouts, equally the same sort of thing. And other kind of community groups would also, you know, give people the opportunity to do Goshka. So, I think you don't have to just, if your school doesn't do it, it doesn't mean there's no opportunity to do it.
Yes, lots of people don't even do Goshka within school. Lots of young people do Goshka outside of school. Their local youth worker can be their pal. Their local youth service can be a partner of Goshka, and they can help you through that sense. So it doesn't have to be through school. Lots of young people find through school is the starting point of it, but you can then move on to your local youth worker, or you could keep going through school. So it doesn't have to be school bound. It can be
Mm.
just within school if you feel more comfortable with the school administration overtaking it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So even if people who are going on to sort of further education or universities even sometimes would do it as well. So I think it's because of the upper, you mentioned that you can start it when you're 14. The upper age limit is 25. So I mean that's not just for people of school age, it is going on, to people who are, young adults as well. So if you're listening to this and you're kind of thinking, oh no, don't worry, you might still be in the age range where you could do it. So it's not necessarily something that's closed off for you, which I think is good to know. You mentioned then, well, I mentioned at the beginning that you are a Gaisce Youth Ambassador. So maybe you could tell us about that. How did that come about and what does that involve?
So this is the second year of the Gaisce Youth Ambassadors. I wasn't a part of the first year. I was only doing my bronze award during their first year. I didn't really understand much about Gaisce, and when I was started following their Instagram, I started seeing different posts about the Gaisce Youth Ambassadors. And when they opened applications back in November, December time, I applied and I I got accepted into the panel, and it was a great opportunity as I get to represent Gaisce in different youth events, and I get to get my voice within the organization and say what needs to be done, or what needs to help young people to get to ensure that they can participate in any way possible. As someone who does have a disability, there can be different barriers and challenges for a person who might not be able to participate fully.
Fantastic. So you really, as you say, advocacy going on there as part of that. So an amazing achievement to be accepted on the panel. And I was looking, on the website there, it shows all of the ambassadors. So you've got details there and your little video that you made as part of it, which is it's amazing. And then, as you say, doing this podcast is a way of kind of that ambassador role, isn't it? Kind of reaching out and raising awareness of Gaisce, I think, which is so important.
Yes, absolutely. We try to promote Gaisce as best we can, even just going down the street or even to young people within different community centres or even in our school, as we want to try and ensure that young people anywhere can get involved, and it doesn't matter what ability you have, you can still get involved. And one of our values is inclusion.
Absolutely, that's so important. And you mentioned there that you, as part of the role, you kind of raise awareness of maybe some of the challenges and things that need to be in place for people with say disabilities. And did you have any challenges as part of doing the Gaisce yourself? I mean, what kind of things have you found that work well or that needed to be improved?
Personally, I didn't have any barriers. I think a barrier I did have was um, someone tried to stop me from doing the proper Carlingford mountain hike because due to my visual impairment, I didn't let that happen and I still went ahead and done it. I was in a class that had several visually impaired students, and out of the several students, I was the only visually impaired student to do the proper Carlingford hike. Um,
Mm.
I I did find that it was very rough terrain, but it was more of the experience of going up and actually doing it. And I think if someone with lower sight did go up there, I think it would have been a little different for them. But as someone who has some sight, I think it was easier for myself. But I could see how it can be very challenging for someone who has more severe vision loss or has other disabilities, as um, you can't always participate in that sense, but you can always get alternatives. It doesn't have to be hiking you can do cycling. So if you're someone that is a tandem cycler, you could do a night stay somewhere and do 25 km cycle down the country and come back up. So there's loads of different alternative ways to get involved within the adventure journey and aspect of it.
Absolutely, that's a really good point. But I think what's interesting that sort of stands out for me is that you were told you couldn't do it, but you said actually no, I really want to. I think I can, and let me do it. And I think that was really important that you kind of advocated for yourself. And presumably you just needed a guide to assist you to do it, or did you, or not?
So there was school staff there with us, and he essentially helped me to get up and down the mountain safely. He informed me of any sharp rocks or any,
Mm.
very dangerous rough terrain to ensure that there was no injuries on the way up or down. So they were very supporting in that sense. So I'm glad that they did accommodate in the end. I think instead of saying you can't do that, you should ask them, can you do that?
Definitely, because I think often can be a fear for people, uh, of organisations or maybe in a school that people are worried, oh, what happened? What happened? I might fall, I might whatever. And often people just need to be given the opportunity to try something. And for you, you were able with that assistance of a guide, you were able to do it, and that could have been the case for other people, and it might have been the case that they tried and they couldn't, but there's nothing wrong with that either. Someone could start to go up and then find actually this is too difficult, and what you do just come back down. So I think that for me is something that's really important, that people don't always just take no for an answer, that they do push and say no, I want to give it a go. And as you say, if you can't then do that, there are often other options of challenges that people can do. So fair play to you, well done. I'm delighted that you got to do the proper climb and the hike and everything. So that's amazing. So what would your kind of advice be for people? And I suppose you've kind of maybe said it already, but it seems to me that you would definitely encourage anyone to get involved if whether they've got a vision impairment or not.
Oh, absolutely. Anyone who is listening from the age of 14 to 25, get involved in Gaisce. It's a great award. You'll never be away from us, even if you get your goal and you're in your 40s. As like we'll always want you back, maybe to talk about your Gaisce experience, or even just to come around and inspire other young people. So make sure to drop into our website, look what we have going on, what is the Gaisce Award, and maybe sign up, and we might see you at some events in the future.
Absolutely. No, it's been a pleasure to find out all about it. And if people do want to go on, I think the website for Gaisce is www.gaisce.ie. So Gaisce is Gaisce. For those who, like me, struggle with the Irish, that once you've got it, you won't forget it. It's a fantastic organisation, and I think it's amazing to just give people that experience, that opportunity to challenge themselves. And I think that's the key, isn't it? It's about challenging yourself, to get involved and to take on new skills and new challenges. And it's really wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Conor. It's been amazing to kind of hear all about it today. And I mentioned, you're being involved in lots of other things as well. You're also now part of our Vision Islands local advocacy network. You just joined up there, so I'm hoping we're going to get great experience for you and for us as well. I think the group that you're involved with can learn a lot from you, because you've just been such an amazing advocate already. So we're delighted to have you on board with us for that. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and I hope that everyone will see the great inspiration that Gaisce and youth advocacy can bring.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Conor. It's been lovely talking to you today. Well, look, thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. Just to say, as always, if you do need any supports from Vision Island, you can check out our website, which is www.vi.ie, or you can always call our info line on 1-800-911-250. So until next time, bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Advocacy Talks. To get in touch with our advocacy team, send us an email to campaigns@vi.ie, or why not join one of our local advocacy networks, where you can work together with others to solve some of the biggest problems facing blind and partially sighted people in Ireland. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.